두려워한다면 승리의 영광을 얻을 수 없는 법. 마스터즈 시즌 1 최강의 전사들, 그리고 300명의 난투 속에서 살아남은 새로운 도전자들. 어차피 전장에 돌아온 이상 피할 수 없다면 제대로 즐겨봐야지. 새로운 친구도 많이 생겼겠다. 더 재미있게 놀아보자고. 레진 코믹스 하스스톤 마스터즈 코리아 시즌 2 웰컴 투 헬파이어.
Hello and everyone, welcome to Hellfire.
Welcome to Hellfire!
Yeah. Well, welcome really to Hearthstone Masters Career Season 2, our subtitle this season being Welcome to Hellfire after the real beginning.
I guess so.
I mean, what a transition.
No kidding, man. We really went crazy. It's like a real beginning. It's like, oh, that's nice. Like, welcome to Hellfire. All right, well, it's intense this season, isn't it, Chobra?
Well, yeah, it definitely is. I mean, the qualifier is having 100 more people than we did in Season 1, up to 300 people participating.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, in the offline qualifiers to come into Season 2, which means a lot of new faces. And as we will see, some of the familiar faces actually didn't make it through, but then some of the other hyped-up names that unfortunately didn't make it in Season 1 actually got their chance now in Season 2, so it should be pretty interesting how things pan out.
Yeah, crazy enough. I mean, our two semi-finalists from last season that didn't make it to the finals, Flurry and Luxam, actually failed to requalify for this season. So we're going to have to wait a while to see them again. But we've got a lot of really good players here this season. I'm excited because we've got a few more Golden Coin players that people haven't seen before. So I think what we're seeing overall is that the level of competition in Korea is increasing more and more. I mean, we just had our special event in which 4 Korean players actually beat 4 Western players. They actually took out, Savit's life coach, Orange, and Strife Crow, which is a huge accomplishment for this scene. So, yeah, I mean, Korea's looking better and better. We're looking forward to the World Championship later this year, and this tournament is a big step towards that for these players.
Yep, and as we're seeing on screen right now, just in case you guys were wondering what the Red Dogs were when Unleash the Hounds happened in the intro video, we do have a new title sponsor here for Master Season 2 for Hearthstone. Lezen Comics is their name, so they're actually a site where cartoonists can register and publish their comics online, and Koreans just love reading comics on their cell phones and whatnot, on your commute. So that's pretty great. So we had some of the popular artists actually send us those special drawings to commemorate the opening of Season 2.
Nice. Well, I like comics. I like Hearthstone. So
it
all
comes
works out
together.
for me. It's pretty neat.
It's pretty awesome. I mean, some of them actually play a lot of Hearthstone themselves. They've been on some of our other shows here at OGN.
Who doesn't, Chobra?
That's true. So many people playing Hearthstone these days. But let's look at how the league is going to work out this season, Doa.
Well, we've got 27 million won for the prize pool, quite a bit actually, and then the big deal to me, and I think to a lot of these players as well too, is the World Championship points. Down at the bottom, again, 150 for first, 70 for second, and that's a big deal. That's a big step towards BlizzCon.
Yeah, and
or towards the World Championships.
Right, yeah, so Seulsiho taking that first place win in Season 1. He's a defending champion for Masters here at OGN, and that actually put him very far ahead, like we saw, 150 points. Before that, he was pretty close, neck and neck with his teammate Surrender in the qualifying points through other tournaments, online tournaments, and some of the other offline tournaments here in Korea. But then wins OGN Masters Season 1, 150 points. Boom, Seulsiho way in the lead to hopefully take a spot at the World Championship later in the year.
Well, Seulsiho definitely looking like the best player in Korea right now, but I gotta say, with the special match, and in case you guys missed it, definitely go back and watch those VODs. It was really the other players that stepped up. You know, Flurry and Luxam were extremely good too. So I think it, again, you know, just shows how competitive the scene is right now and how good these players are. And we've got Seulsiho in our very first match. He's going to be playing against Kuma from Golden Coin. So right off the bat, we have that rivalry of Seulsiho and his team versus Golden Coin. So it's a good match to start things off with.
Yeah, definitely should be pretty interesting. We'll see how Seulsiho does. Like you said, didn't really show up, but really just actually got countered by Savitz pretty hard during that global match we had. But then Luxam actually getting a 4-0 against all of Savitz, Orange, Strife Crow, and Life Coach on that second day. That was very impressive. 4 best-of-5s in a row.
Well, considering that he did it between the hours of midnight and 4 a.m. as well.
Yep. So we're taking a look at how the offline qualifiers happen. Like we mentioned, up to 300 people here showing up for the offline qualifiers.
That is a lot of Hearthstone players.
Yeah, but look at this. People like Kranish, Luxam, Junko Ramu,
and poor Junko Ramu, no.
Not making it through the intense qualifiers, but then you see some other familiar faces. We saw Rini Hour there, Transit making it back in to the round of 16. Of course, the top 2 players from Season 1, the finalists, Seulsiho and Pomblad, are already qualified. They're seeded into the Season 2. Welcome to Hellfire here at OGN.
Well, I am bummed not to see Kranish again. I mean, I think he is still one of the better Korean players. You know, of course, he was a semifinalist at BlizzCon last season, so it is too bad that he didn't make it in. But the real big question coming out of the qualifiers for me is Transit. We've seen him get through quite a few qualifiers, actually. He seems to nearly always make it into the Korean tournaments, but he seems to nearly always have a really hard time. He kind of chokes a bit. So is he finally going to be able to handle the pressure on the big stage? Seems like he does just fine up until that, and I've seen this guy play online. He's really good then too, but it just seems like the booth is sort of cursed for him. So we'll see if he can finally break that this season.
Yeah, it's been kind of rough for him, and I know last season, talking to him backstage and whatnot, and listening to him talk to his teammates, he seemed to be struggling a lot to find a good groove for himself on what works for him in terms of practice and in terms of preparation. So we'll see if that has changed. He did qualify here into Season 2, and let's take a quick look at what the Koreans think of the meta right now in Hearthstone. This was a poll that we took at the offline qualifier, so up to 300 people participating in Season 1. Those are the rankings you see there, going from 1 as very weak and 5 as very strong. In Season 2, we see quite a few changes. Warlock shooting up all the way to the top with a lot of variations developing for that class.
You know, it's interesting, too, because we've seen a lot of specifically handlock. And yes, there is Zoo, and yes, there is Demon Zoo, but it's really been about the handlock. And in the special event, I was talking to Seulsiho, talking to some of those guys, and they were telling me that they didn't think handlock was that strong. And I'm like, are you sure? You were just playing it like a week ago, and everybody else in the world seems to be playing it. So I don't think the rest of Korea apparently agrees with those guys, and I don't even think they stick with that either. But here's our round of 16. Today we're going to see Seulsiho versus Kuma and Miracle versus Qualifier. Qualifier, of course, known for having the worst ID ever in Hearthstone.
Well, Hearthstone.
Even Hearthstone was better than Qualifier.
I guess so. Hearthstone has a little bit more weight. And then tomorrow we see Dawn coming back. And then Surrender. Finally, we get to see him here at OGN. And his first matchup will be up against Transit. 2 players who were really hyped up in the scene when they first entered, and then haven't had a chance here at OGN to really show up.
Ghost is actually a Golden Coin player that's been training really hard as well, too. So I'm very happy to see him in the tournament. And again, you know, today's matchups, like we just said, Seulsiho versus Kuma first, and then Miracle versus Qualifier. And Qualifier, we'll see if he lives up to his name, right? Is this as far as he's going to get? Is he only a qualifier?
Yeah, maybe he only qualifies for every tournament.
That's the real question right now, yeah.
Yeah, and Seulsiho, of course, just big resume now for this guy in the Hearthstone scene. I mean, he's won quite a few tournaments. He has so many World Championship points. And then going up against Kuma, who has a little bit of a reputation. We'll hear more about it during the player interviews, as we see right now. Seulsiho here, your defending champion from Season 1. He was the captain of his team. Yeah, and he said, yeah, well, after Season 1, it's been very busy. You know, a lot more people asking for interviews and just wanting to get back in touch with me. And for the finals, yeah, I actually didn't get much sleep because I was training really hard to try to prepare that Shaman deck to have a little bit of a curveball against Pomblad. And it's been interesting. So, because a lot of my friends who didn't really keep in good touch with me started getting back in touch with me after I won, so I've been having to buy a lot of dinners and whatnot.
I see how it is, Seulsiho.
Yeah, and of course, he says, well, as a captain, I'm just really proud of, recruiting these players into my team because I think we have such a high average skill level in Hearthstone. And my opponent for today, Kuma, I've met him a couple of times. I wouldn't say I know him too well. The matches we've played against each other in the past have gone pretty well, but I think today will be a good showing of who the real winner will be between us two as players. And said, well, yeah, so in terms of, players not making it in from the qualifiers who went so far, specifically talking about Flurry and Luxem, he's like, yeah, I'm not really worried about, curses or anything of defending champions not making it back in or something like that. I'm here, I'm ready to go all the way to the top once again. And he said, yeah, so I have actually not been thinking that I'm the defending champion. I just, as soon as the finals were over, of course, we had some other matches for him. So he said, I just let that be the past. It's a new season. I start from the bottom just like everyone else, and I just have to go all the way back to the top if I want to be the champion once again.
It's a good attitude, and it really is impressive how he's been able to really kind of collect around himself the genuinely best talent in Korea for Hearthstone. No doubt in my mind that he has the best teammates right now, and big news for them.
Yes.
They were actually sponsored by Ku, who also formerly was GE. If you are familiar with the GE Tigers from League of Legends, a great team there. Now the Ku Tigers, and Ku is sponsoring Seulsiho's Hearthstone team. They're called All Killers for the moment. They're just sticking with the name from the special event, but I've been told there's another team name coming. But big news, this is the first big name sponsor to move into Hearthstone in Korea. They're living in the practice facility with the league team right now. They're practicing there, so a really huge step for Korean Hearthstone, actually.
It's the first official professional team, Hearthstone team here in Korea, and like you said, with the team house environment too. I know some of the Korean casters had a chance to visit the team house, and they said, yeah, it looks really good. I mean, just the environment they have set up, schedules and whatnot already going down, and having a lot more structure than we did in the past for Hearthstone. But on the flip side, we have Kuma from Team Golden Coin, one of still the longest going communities and collection of players here in Korea for Hearthstone.
That's right.
And Kuma said, well, I've actually entered the qualifiers a couple times in the past too, but this is the first time that I'm coming into the round of 16, so I'm very excited, and I'll obviously be doing my best. And I probably will be a little bit nervous, but I've actually been on stage for other things quite a few times, and so I don't think I'll get too nervous once I'm on stage. I actually really enjoy being in front of a crowd and being in the spotlight. And my style of play is actually, I really like to throw curveballs a lot. I bring somewhat off-meta decks just to make it hard for my opponents to keep really good track of my cards so that they can't keep a really good count on what's coming next. And that's how I try to get an upper edge when I play against my opponents. And yeah, when people talk about Seulsiho, of course now known as All Killers, the former Seulsiho team and the Golden Coin players, and people say that it's a rivalry, but I like to think that Golden Coin on average is a little bit ahead. So we'll show you today how that result goes down between me and Seulsiho.
All right, well, we will see indeed.
I mean, I don't know. Season 1 was pretty much dominated by Seulsiho.
And, I mean, I say this as technically I'm on that team. I'm on Golden Coin, and I still think that right now the All Killers have a little bit more talent across the board than we do. But that doesn't mean it can't change this season, and Kuma's going to try to prove it. Of course, coming into this, also really wanting to prove to his family specifically that he's a good Hearthstone player, that he can, make a living doing this, that he can really make a name for himself. So a lot riding on this match for him. And of course, in our tournament here, it is single elimination too. So it's kind of a winner go home in the round of 16.
Yeah, it's really interesting that he talks about strategy. We'll talk about more of that, of course. Hopefully we get to see some of that when we see his decks today.
Yeah.
But one thing I do want to note before we move on is that, like we mentioned, not all of the Seulsiho members are now part of the Ku All Killers, just the 4 that participated in that special match.
Right.
The other members of Seulsiho are actually now part of a different team, and we'll get to introduce that tomorrow when we see Transit. But for now, Seulsiho's record so far and the 3 classes he chose for today.
Yeah, interesting. Rogue, Paladin, and Warlock. Warlock fairly standard across the board right now. Paladin, a little bit, and Rogue too, a little bit less so. Honestly, we've seen those two kind of fall off a bit. I'm more surprised to see the Rogue than the Paladin, but we'll see how it all works out. Really curious what decks they actually brought.
And then Kuma, Hunter, Druid, and Warlock. Well, so far, class-wise, not too shocking. No curveballs here. I mean, going with pretty standard, consistent classes, and of course ones that he has pretty good win rates, and he actually has played 4 games so far in professional matches here in Korea on Priest, but we won't be seeing that today.
Yeah, the Druid again is something that's starting to kind of fall off a little bit in other regions. It's still strong, but
it'll come back for the World Championship. I'm pretty
so?
positive. Whoa!
Druid's always around. Oh wow!
Yeah, look at the fan votes here, all favoring Seulsiho, 91-9. That kind of hurts Kuma. I mean, I know Seulsiho's the defending champion, but
hey, well, fan votes are fan votes, right? So that doesn't necessarily mean that Kuma's that unfavored to win it.
Everyone's just trying to get
some skill.
More free food from Seulsiho. Gonna get in touch with him after he wins again. But the game is ready between Seulsiho and Kuma. We'll see which classes both players kick off with. Of course, Conquest format as always as we go into the middle of 2015 here with Season 2 at OGN. Welcome to Hellfire. And the opening match, Seulsiho versus Kuma, kicks off for Hearthstone Masters Korea Season 2 at OGN.
Welcome to Hellfire.
You know, I thought the intro was the same, but it's not, huh? Because it's Welcome to Hellfire.
I guess so.
Yeah, it has different minions, and it's got the fire burning there.
Well, Paladin versus Druid will be our first matchup. Seulsiho with the Paladin and Kuma with the Druid, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was a bit more of a mid-rangey sort of Paladin, but we'll see. I've been playing a ton of Dragon Paladin lately, Chober. That's my thing right now. I love
Don't expect
Dragon
Seulsiho to play that, though. Regardless of how well it does, I mean, Seulsiho always preferring the most tried and true decks and styles.
Sadly, I don't think we're going to see a lot of Dragon Paladin
he also,
this tournament or any tournament. Yeah,
Seulsiho also mentioned in the earlier interview that because he hasn't had too much time to prepare specifically for this matchup after the finals, because things have been moving pretty fast, he's just going to bring decks that he's been playing the most recently on ladder and in other practices, just pretty standard decks. So he admitted to that right off the bat.
Well,
Not too surprising.
It's pretty mid-rangey. We'll see how it goes.
The Harrison Jones still in hand for Kuma.
No kidding, yeah. Wow.
He's really aiming for that Light's Justice, huh?
Well, it can be a pretty big swing, yeah. I mean, if you play an early muster for battle and you get that Harrison Jones, that's a lot of cards for Druid. That's a lot of chances to draw the combo if he's playing combo. Yeah,
and World Championship points we just saw on the screen right there. Seulsiho leading with 300 total points so far. Surrender at second place with only 170. I say only because of the difference there is between that first and second seed so far.
Yeah.
We're looking at just all the win records we have from players here in Korea as in their professional career. Renier are still ranked #1 with 92 total wins, but Seulsiho already catching up pretty fast with 78. Some interesting statistics here to really show us how far Seulsiho has come, just fighting for his time to be that #1 player in Korea.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing Renier later in the tournament, too. We'll see how he does. And early couple of minions getting that shielded mini-bot out on the board, of course, as well. And this is already a little bit of an annoying hand to deal with for Kuma. He's got some options. He can take out the Zombie Chow, of course, with the Wrath. He can put down his own Zombie Chow as well. And he may just want to do that just to sort of get as much of the board as he can back on his favor. And yeah, looks like that's what he's going to do. Makes sense.
Yeah, just
doesn't feel the greatest, but it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, you're just keeping whatever control you can, because you do know that even though Paladin is not the fastest of decks, it can get out of control pretty fast, especially once that shielded mini-bot's there and then the muster comes down.
Well, this also sets up Kuma for a really nice turn 4 and 5, presumably. You know, if you see that muster for battle coming out. We could see Seulsiho coin out one of his 4-drops here, too. And he may just want to toss down that piloted Shredder, because he's got a pretty clean curve, too.
He's going to go ahead, and he wants to keep that shielded mini-bot going really well. Kuma nodding a little bit. I mean, True Silver also a really good target for Harrison Jones. Even if you only get 1 draw, I mean, 1 charge of True Silver is worth so much for Paladins.
Yeah, it really does help swing a lot of Paladin games in their favor, but it'll have to be the shielded mini-bot for this turn. And we'll see if Seulsiho just decides to attack into it. Yep, no big surprise there.
Yeah, I mean, you're still at full health. You don't want to have to deal with that 4 attacks sitting there.
Oh, Mana Addict. Interesting.
Man, if that stays alive till the end, that can really change things. But for now, we probably won't see too much use for it.
Yeah.
And at this rate, Seulsiho just choosing to save his muster for possibly a combo because he has other plays all lined up for the next couple turns with the Sludge Belchers coming in.
Kuma's looking okay. He's got the Acolyte of Pain. He can also swipe this turn as well, too.
And he can clear the mini bot afterwards with the
right.
buffed up Mana Addict. That's actually pretty sweet. But it
I kinda
doesn't
like
feel
that.
great because of the mana. Because you would have 1 mana left.
Oh, really? He's just going to go ahead and put down the Piloted Shredder and just pop the Divine Shield.
Interesting, because, I mean, I guess he doesn't want to have to deal without a possible answer from what pops out of that Shredder if he can help it. So I can respect that. I mean, because the Mana Addict, it's not like he played that from hand. It came up from a Shredder. You don't really need to play around it too much.
True enough. Everybody loves Hearthstone.
Yeah.
Yay.
Family. Oh, the family of people from Layson Comics, actually.
Oh, okay.
Visiting us for the opening match, as they are our new partner here for OGN.
Nice.
Hearthstone at OGN, rather. Pretty awesome. And it really speaks to the popularity really starting to finally grow here in Korea for Hearthstone. It had a bit of a slow start, but with more people getting familiar with card games in general, and, of course, the mobile platform really kicking things off.
That's a pretty accessible game. Ooh, Golden Scenarios. Nice. All right, let's see. What can we do here? He's got a couple different options. He can swipe something besides the Sludge Belcher, then clear it with his Piloted. Depending on what comes out, he can employ his hero power in that as well, too. In fact, he could swipe the Piloted Shredder, then clear the first level of the Sludge Belcher. Kind of see where things go from there.
Yeah, I really like swiping the Shredder and seeing what comes out. You could play the Drake, though. If you're going to play the Drake, that's okay. But at that point, you're already using 2 turns with 1 mana left. And I think Kuma's actually getting a little too greedy about the swipe and the spell power.
I agree, man. I mean, I think leaving everything out on the board right now is pretty dangerous, even with a 4-4 and a 4-3 for yourself. Because there's that True Silver champion in the hand of Seulsiho still right now. So that means you can clear the Drake really easily. Can keep building his board basically however he wants. He's got his own second Sludge Belcher, so yeah, I think Kuma might have needed a little bit more.
Yeah, I think Kuma looking a little bit too focused around possible combos he can do from hand, but requiring too much mana. Now, he does have a nice target for his Harrison Jones, should he choose.
And I mean, to be fair, if the Azure Drake would have survived, he would have had an excellent swipe turn. But I feel like that's too greedy, though. I feel like you're expecting too much.
I mean, if I was Seulsiho on the flip side, once you see that Drake come down, I mean, you just trade it with the Shredder if you didn't have a True Silver. So I don't really know if Kuma hoped that or he was just using that as something to draw attention away.
Yeah, I think we really need to see some clear going on here.
Okay, then he'll probably swipe the target that comes out from there, depending on... Oh, no, he just went for the draw.
Yeah.
All right, so he'll just...
Yep, swipe the mini-bot.
It's going to be...
That's not so bad.
Yeah, so 2-2. Another 2-2, but ooh.
That's an annoying one to deal with. All minions cost 1 more.
That hurts Kuma a little bit more.
Yeah, it does. It does, but we'll see if it survives, because it's not the greatest for Seulsiho either.
Yeah, if I was Seulsiho, I might just clear 2. I mean, you are at 7 mana, though, so... If you reduce it, I guess if you really want to play your second Belcher, you can choose to reduce it. But if not, I might actually think about trying and leaving it alive for a turn and see how Kuma reacts to it. Because Kuma can't kill it off on his own.
True.
So I think, personally, given your health and whatnot, I'm actually in favor of putting out a Shredder and a Dude. But, oh, maybe he wants to put out his Muster for Battle here, or Acolyte. Because you did see one swipe, so we'll see which one he goes for.
Yeah, I feel like it does hurt Seulsiho more than Kuma to have that minion out, just because Kuma, presumably has the combo, which doesn't really, it's not really affected by it.
True.
All right.
But, I mean, so yeah, so here's what we're seeing from Kuma, right? You saved your Harrison too much, didn't find use, now it's just a vanilla 5-4. The swipe, it had to go through a lot more just to clear the board somewhat. Like, basically Kuma getting a little bit too greedy about possible combos and then
Let's
missing
see.
out on so many opportunities.
He's got 8 damage on the board right now. Another 1 from his hand, presumably with Muster for Battle. He could
And
go
he has
ahead.
a Knife Juggler too.
Yeah, I mean, the risk with Knife Juggler is that if you hit one of the bombs, you can kill some of the minions, so he'd have to attack with everything first if he wanted to try that. But he could.
I think it's worth a shot.
Yeah, might as well. I mean, I suppose in theory he could win if all 3 knives hit face and then he hit him with the Light's Justice.
Yeah.
He could actually win this turn.
Although, actually,
okay, he's gonna play
yeah,
it safe, though.
okay, because if he has the combo, he's done next turn.
Yeah.
So, you know, you could actually end up looking really silly if you didn't watch out. All right, where's that second bomb gonna go? And
oh, wow, 4 damage to face. It's a little bit awkward.
That hurts a little bit.
Maybe play the anti-heal bot this turn if you're really worried about the combo.
Yeah, I think you do actually.
Because, well, let's see. Would 8 health get you more than
21?
Having another taunt would?
Yes. Well, actually, you'd have to go through 2 taunts, but and he only has exactly 9 mana, so the taunt's fine. I didn't realize he already picked up the Sludge Belcher.
Oh, okay.
So I wasn't taking that into account. But
it's looking pretty good for Seulsiho, though. Oh, swipe, though. Well, that
What
can
a
take care of
board.
a lot of the minions, yeah, but can it take care of enough?
No. The answer is no.
Can take care of most of it.
You can taunt up afterwards and try to buy 1 more turn.
I think that's what you pretty much have to do. Otherwise, you play, I mean, yeah, you can't play Cenarius and just get the 2 taunts because that just doesn't give you enough. So you have to swipe. I think it kind of has to be swiped Druid of the Claw, doesn't it?
Yep. I mean, that's the only way to buy yourself more time. And now it feels bad because you have to swipe the Shredder to reduce the most damage.
And he will reduce a lot of damage, to be fair.
Yes, a lot. I mean, you're clearing out 4 1/1s here on top of a 4/3.
But he only has 5 health, so it's
Yep.
not the greatest.
Yeah, well, that will be game over with the double consecrate. Should be if he hits first and then consecrates through.
Yeah.
Yep, because you have 2 1/1s.
Yep, you attack with the 2 1/1s, double consecrate, then finish him with the Light's Justice. Finish him with the Justice of the Light, Shobra.
The light. Oh wait, no, that's Priest.
Welcome to Hellfire. Yeah. Oh. I guess this works too, though.
Okay.
Yeah, you can just do it again and attack with the Pyromancer.
Yeah, Seulsiho trying to prove that he is a wiser man. Does not go for the easy way out.
Yeah, a double Quartermaster in his deck, by the way, too. Interesting. All right, so there is a win for Seulsiho right off the bat with that Paladin deck. Out of the way now, we'll see if Rogue or Warlock comes out from our reigning champion. And Warlock Hunter, if Kuma wants to switch away from this Druid.
I wonder if you do switch away from the Druid.
Well, you need to get a win with everything. Let's see. It all depends on what he's anticipating, I suppose. If it is Handlock, I would imagine we'll probably be seeing that saved. But
you mean by Kuma? If Kuma's Warlock is a handlock? Okay.
But we'll see. I mean, just looking at the matchups, I think Druid is just probably what you're going to want to just grab a win with first, unless you're really frustrated with the deck or something, you know?
Yeah, I think you might as well give it another shot. We'll find out which classes both players have chosen for game number 2. Looks like we're ready to jump in. So game number 2 between Seulsiho and Kuma.
No, Chobra. Hellfire was when we had to watch the Freeze Mage versus Freeze Mage game the other night.
At like 4 a.m.
That was Hellfire.
That was pretty, yeah.
That was Welcome to Hellfire.
That
was
pretty brutal.
Let's see what we've got here. Rogue versus Hunter. Okay.
Well, okay, bringing out
going
some
deep
old
with this Hunter.
Control Hunter here with the Rag. BGH.
Yeah, definitely more on the slower mid-range end of things.
Yeah, we saw, I forget who played this actually. We saw it during Season 1 too. We saw one variation of this, and of course it was kind of popular when GBG first came out around the world.
Now if he runs Deadly Shot, I'm going to lose my mind.
Deadly Shot. What if you run Snipe?
It's okay. All right,
really?
Snipe. Yeah, let's do
Okay.
Snipe. Why not?
All right.
Why not? Why
Looking
not?
at, matchup history for Rogues versus Hunters all time, and then 2015 here in Korea.
I hadn't played on my North American account all month, because I hadn't played on my Korean account all month, because I've been only playing on NA, but I thought I'd just play on it for fun to test some decks today. And I ran into a Hunter that used he had 2 Deadly Shots and multi-shot, and I was like, wow, this guy.
Wow, did he also have
This guy.
a Cobra Shot?
Yes, actually, he did
And
Cobra
quick
Shot me.
shots? Was it a...
I did not see Quick Shot, but Cobra Shot was involved.
That's
It's like Freezing Trap, all right.
That's pretty funny.
It was a bit surprising.
All right, well,
Juggle some knives.
yeah, Freezing Trap, not too surprising considering we're looking at a much heavier hand here for Kuma, a little bit more of a control style. Look at those Hearthstone rice cakes.
Those are really good, by the way.
Yeah.
Those are delicious. I like rice cakes. Anyway, we could see that Piloted Shredder coin out here, maybe. He's got the Eviscerate, but he's running the 2 Piloted Shredders as well, too, so Seulsiho wanting to put a little bit more pressure on than the average Oil Rogue with this deck.
Yeah. And, all right, well, still going to go with...
Just really wants to get rid of it.
Yeah. And I think, putting down the Thou Knows to test for the Freezing Trap, since you already tested for Explosive and it wasn't it.
Yep, might as well.
Oh, and you actually get the backstab here,
Wow.
too. That's pretty great. Because even if you get a taunt, you can still just bounce your Thou Knows back.
Yeah, Spell Power Backstab. Not
Things
bad.
really working out for Seulsiho here, and then you can just put down his Shredder.
Yep, looks like it'll be a Mad Scientist. Or Crazed Alchemist, my bad.
Yeah, Crazed Alchemist.
You know, all those insane science-oriented guys.
Yeah, well, well done by Seulsiho, reading kind of the state of the board right now from Kuma.
Yeah.
Kuma claiming that he likes to throw curveballs. It's interesting because Palmblad was a player who purposely tried to counter his opponents with just complete different decks or a couple of tech cards, whereas Kuma's just like, oh, I'm just gonna bring somewhat off meta decks so that they can't tell until a couple turns in what card to expect afterwards. But at this point, I'm pretty sure Seulsiho's like, all right, guy, your tricks are over.
Yeah, seeing the Freezing Trap, he knows it's at least not, hyper Face Hunter anyway.
Right. Now, that early Eviscerate, I mean, he was a little bit scared of the Knife Juggler. It's not really paying off too well.
Understandable.
But
you want to get rid of that beast, so.
Yeah, playing the Lotha first, very well done, because we saw what could happen. In the previous game, the Mana Wraith coming out could really ruin your day.
Pirate's Cannon. Now, is he running Captain Greenskins? That's the question.
Ooh, well, he's probably running
not,
a South Sea Deckhand, though.
Yeah, maybe, actually. That's actually possible.
Yeah, because I was playing an arena game recently where I drafted Ship's Cannon and a South Sea Deckhand. It was pretty great. Got to play both of them a couple
I'm telling you,
times.
man, Pirate Paladin. It's really good.
I did try your list actually a couple times when you let me know. It is pretty fun.
It's not good, but it's fun. So he's going to leave the Lothab up.
Yeah, well, another Freezing Trap here for Kuma.
Yep.
Seulsiho has to have a read on this, most likely.
I think so, and he's doing pretty good as far as card advantage goes this game. A lot of options yet, whereas Kuma only down to a couple in his hand, and it might as well just be one for the next turn anyway.
Oh, all right, so Seulsiho threatening to get an extra heal off of his Earthen Ring Farseer. How does Kuma react to this? Do you... Oh, I mean, using a kill command on that Farseer doesn't feel too good. So you might as well just get rid of the Lothab, because the Farseer, if you're going to bounce it back anyway, might as well. And, okay, going for another kill command too. Not using either of them for face, which means he did lose out on a lot of damage potential later. But again, this is supposed to be a much heavier Hunter deck, so it's not going to feel as bad as it might have been if he was face Hunter.
Oh, there's that South Sea Deckhand. Just a little bit too late.
Oh, man.
We could have seen the Ship's Cannon activated. That's too bad. All right, so there's Lothab. Or do you just go for 8 damage with Ragnaros? I mean, there's a lot of cards in hand. I guess you can get a little bit more damage on.
Yeah, I mean, you have the hero power.
I kind of would have liked to see Ragnaros. I feel like that was such a beautiful open turn to just throw down Ragnaros and get 8 damage to face in, you know?
It would have, yeah, it could have been pretty good, but he already has 3 damage on the dagger, and he could have had a second Eviscerate, maybe Spell Power, something like that. So
yeah, I suppose.
I'm okay with this. All right, Seulsiho getting his LC deckhand back. It is going to cost 2 more, but, you know, better than not getting 5 damage with your Thorison, right? So.
Well, now we see a candidate for Ragnaros. We may just see the Lothab trade in, though.
I think Kuma also really wanted to see if he can try to use the Rag to clear something big and then leave it up as a threat that Seulsiho still has to deal with. If you're relying on more damage, I mean, he's probably running high mains, too.
If you let Emperor Thorison sit there and cross your fingers for the 50-50, though, you are really gambling against Rogue.
Very true.
We'll see what he wants to do.
But I see you do it. I see you do it. You're at 29 health, right? So if Rag hits face and you Abusive Sergeant one of your guys,
you're not really in danger of dying.
Yeah, and then you would do 16 damage to him where he would go down to 5, so he either would have to have lethal or not. But okay, he's going to play it a little safe.
Yeah.
That's fine too. I mean, that's definitely safer.
I think in this case, the only thing you're really worried about right now is a sap. And if that happens, you just play it again the next turn. With one Eviscerate being down, it's pretty unlikely that he'll be able to kill it from Kuma's perspective. But yeah, I think we're going to see that sap, though.
Well, I say, you know, draw, see what you get.
Yeah. And again, the sap isn't really all that much of a concern, honestly.
Yeah, in fact, even if you sap it, you might even want to put down. Ooh. Actually, is he dead either way next turn?
I don't think either way.
Oh, all right, because you can't clear the Drake. Depends on what Kuma draws here. But
now the funny thing is that Fan of Knives is a bit of a risk to play as well too, because you never know. You don't want to give him King Crush or something like that from the web spinner. You know, this is a time where you would get King Crush, wouldn't it be?
It'd be pretty great. Oh, he's still gonna go for it.
All right, what's it gonna be? If it's King Crush. Oh no, Captain's Parrot. We've got a pirate theme going in this game apparently.
Yeah. Oh, okay, and then using
Spell Power,
nice. To get rid of it. I think that's safe.
Yeah.
Safest, because otherwise he could have tried to clear the Azure Drake with a different spell and then get, you know, the Rag and then the hero power to face to win. So Seulsiho bought himself quite a bit of time, only at 10 health though, so he's got about 3 more turns left because we're going to expect more minions to come out from Kuma. Yeah. You did see both kill commands from Kuma though, so you don't have to worry about the burst coming in from spells.
Yeah, I was going to say, at least that's out of the way. And no Sharp Sword Oils yet.
Nope.
In this deck that we've seen from Seulsiho, interestingly enough. It seems very mid-rangey with the Earthen Ring Farseers and the Piloted Shredders.
Yeah, oh, there's
one, okay.
There's the oil.
Yeah. Well, that's potentially a lot of damage in his hand right now. He's still got 7 mana, too.
Yeah, so he can dagger out. He also has Deadly Poison.
Yep.
And he can play all 3 of those spells. Is that actually lethal here? He has 5.
It may be very close.
12, 13. Oh, 20. So he's at 20 damage. Pretty close, though.
Well, let's see. Wouldn't it be, if he puts Deadly Poison, that's 14 plus 7.
Oh, 22,
plus, and then plus Eviscerate.
Or 23, I guess.
Oh, he's 1 mana off
short,
being able to do everything he needs to,
Yeah, miscalculated the extra damage on the dagger.
Yep. All right. Malorn. Oh, yeah, I don't think that's going to do it.
Nope. That would be game because you can't clear
the
Azure Drake.
Yep.
Oh, Malorn.
Well, Golden Malorn looks pretty cool, but
if only it was a King Crush. That would have been the sickest finish.
I know, right? I was actually kind of wondering if maybe he should just eviscerate this turn and save the Blade Flurry, but he went for it, and he gets the kill. Seulsiho, our reigning champion, up 2-0 in our first best of 5 of the night.
Yeah, just needs to win 1 more with his Warlock deck to secure a spot in the quarterfinals, and Kuma, things not working out so well for him.
Yeah, not so much, and it's not that he's making a lot of mistakes or anything like that. I think he's playing fairly solid, but the card's been going Seulsiho's way. Been playing great as well, and Kuma on the verge of elimination.
Yeah, so we will be taking a short break before coming back to what could be the final game of the first match of Season 2. But Seulsiho really just proving once again why he was known as such a consistent player, why he's known as such a great control player. You know, he doesn't take too many chances. He plays as safely as possible. And Kuma's little curveballs not really throwing him off his stance for now. But we're going to take a quick commercial break, guys. We'll be back after this for set number 3.
네, 안녕하세요. 박태민 해설입니다.
네, 안녕하세요. 우리 김민영입니다.
네, 오늘 저희가 이 하스스톤이 모바일 버전이 나오고 난 뒤에 정말 유저가 많이 늘었잖아요. 그래서 그 신규 유저들을 위한 이제 뭐 팁이라던가 뭐 대결전의 이런 방법들, 플레이하는 방법에 대해서 알려드리려고 이 자리에 왔고요. 이 마스터즈 코리아 시즌2 기간 내내 계속해서 나올 테니까 꼭 놓치지 마시길 바라겠습니다.
오빠, 그럼 우리 이제 밀린 진도가 너무 많으니까
맞아.
빨리 시작해볼까요? 고고!
고고! 가자! 민영아, 일단은
네.
이게 하스스톤은 사실 카드가 되게 많이 필요한 게임인데
맞아요.
사실 그 시작하는 사람들은 카드가 많이 없잖아.
그러니까.
그래서 초심자들을 위한 덱을 좀 설명을 해주기 위해서 오늘은 흑마법사를 좀 알려줄 거야.
와, 여기는 그러면은 과금 하나도 안 한 덱이에요?
그러니까 이거는 사실 최소 비용으로 만들 수 있는 덱이야. 그래서 일단 흑마법사를 일단은 보여줄 건데
네.
이게 알고 보면은 골드나 이런 거를 얻을 수 있는 게 굉장히 많아.
어떻게 얻어요?
그러니까 히든 캐스트라 그래서
히든 캐스트?
모든 영웅 10렙을 만들거나 또 뭐 전문가 그 NPC를 상대로 다 이겼을 때, 그리고 영웅으로 100승을 했을 때, 또 1000승을 했을 때 이런 것들로 인해서 골드를 얻을 수 있기 때문에 이런 것들을 분명히 좀 많이 좀 활용을 하면
네.
골드를 얻는 거에 있어서는 좀 많이 도움이 될 것 같고 기본적으로 이 하스스톤은 카드가 7가지가 있어. 기본 카드, 일반 카드, 희귀 카드, 영웅 카드, 거의
전설.
노래 같다. 전설 카드, 황금 카드, 요, 잭기럽 뭐 이렇게 있어가지고
네.
이 기본 카드는 기본적으로 영웅 레벨을 10을 만들면 다 얻을 수가 있어.
맞아요.
그리고 일반 카드 자체도 만드는데 비용이 많이 안 들어서 이 덱 자체는 일단은 거의 기본 카드와 일반 카드만으로 좀 구성이 돼 있는 거거든. 그래서 이건 사실 뭐 만들기 그렇게 어렵지는 않고 이 덱을 좀 봤을 때 컨셉 자체가 이제 위니 흑마법사라 그래가지고
네.
위니 흑마법사는 좀 초반에 낮은 그 코스트의 하수인을 많이 내서
그러니까.
쉽게 말해서 좀 질보단 양으로 밀어붙이는 이런 형태의 지금 덱이거든. 일단은 여기에는 뭐 낙스라마스, 검은 바이산, 고블린을 놓은 카드가 하나도 없기 때문에
그러니까.
어떻게 보면 진짜 지금 시작하시는 분들이 만들기에는 전혀 어렵지가 않을 거야.
이 덱으로 꼭 이기는 모습을 보여드리겠습니다.
그러면 이거를 한번 우리가 실전에서 어떻게 플레이를 하는지
네.
한번 경기를 해보도록 하자.
좋아요.
20등급 정도는 이거는 이길 수 있어야 돼. 우리가 또
그러니까
이
우리가 20등급 정도를 위한 지금 프로그램이니까.
시청자분들도 사실 이게 등급전에서 좀 이길 수 있어야지
맞아요.
따라한단 말이야. 그러니까
이게
우리가
아주 등급전에서 괜찮은 덱이더라고요.
일단은 이 덱 자체는 굉장히 쉬워.
네.
처음에 낮은 코스트 거의 1, 2 위주로만 잡으면 되거든.
그 초반에 한 4, 5짜리 나오면 무조건 지워라.
그치. 특히나 이렇게 이제 4코스트짜리는 웬만하면 좀 지어주는 게 좋아.
네,
그래서 일단 이렇게 2장을 갖고 가자.
좋아요.
와,
근데 또 5짜리가 들어왔는데?
이러면 좀 안 좋은 거야. 근데 그래도 괜찮아.
그러니까.
우리가 이제 쭉쭉쭉쭉 나갈 수가 있기 때문에
네,
괜찮고.
네.
그렇지. 이 은피 십자군용자도
네.
사실 이게 1코스트짜리 공격력이랑 생명력, 그러니까 이게 하수인을 보면은 왼쪽에 있는 게 공격력이고 오른쪽에 있는 게 생명력인데
네,
이 공격력이 좀 낮아도 천상의 보호막이라는 게 있어.
맞아요.
그러니까 이거는 무조건 한번 피해를 안 받거든. 그래서 이게 필드에서 좀 유지력이 굉장히 좋다. 필드는 이 전체적인 이 판 자체를 필드라 그래.
그런 것까지 지금 설명해줘야 되는 거예요? 20등급이면 그 정도는 알아요.
아, 그래? 그 단검국회사가 언제나 이 하수인을 소환하면은 단검을 이렇게 때린단 말이야.
네네.
무작위로 때리는데 그것까지 다 생각을 해서 원래 플레이를 해줘야 돼. 그리고 위닝마법사는 언제나 이 하수인을 놓는 위치도 또 신경 많이 써야 되거든. 왜냐하면 이제 조금 있으면은 나오겠지만 뭐 아르거스의 수호자라는 카드가 이렇게
네네.
도발을 걸어주기 때문에 이 필드에 좀 내가 어떻게 도발을 걸지를 좀 미리 생각을 하고 하신을 내야 돼. 당근고개사를 지켜주는 게 좀 좋아. 웬만하면. 벌써 봐봐, 우리가 이 위니응마법사의 무서움이 뭐냐면 상대방의 체력이
16이 됐어.
벌써 16이 돼 있어.
네, 그러니까요.
그리고 파멸의 수호병은
네.
보면은 카드를 무작위로 이제 2장을 버리면서 나간단 말이야.
그러니까
그래서 지금 예를 들면
나머지를 낸 다음에 저걸 내야 된다는
그렇지. 오, 그런 것도 알고 있네. 자, 그러면은 카드를 먼저 드로우를 해보고 흑마법사는
네,
기본적인 영웅 능력이 피해를 2를 입는 대신에
그쵸?
카드를 한 장 뽑는 거야. 그래서
네.
지금 딱 3코스트를 쓸 수가 있잖아.
네네네.
근데 네 손에 3코스트가 있었기 때문에 드로우를 먼저 보고
기가 막.
그 다음에 이제 하수인을 내는 게 좋은 거고
그쵸.
지금은
음.
최대한 이 남은 그 필드에 있는 하수인으로 피해를 많이 줘야 돼. 왜냐하면 다음 턴에 웬만하면 이게 다 정리가 되거든? 상대방이 지금 무기가 공격력이 2고
네네.
3, 2짜리 하수인, 2짜리 하수인이 필드에 있잖아.
네.
이러면 다음 턴에 무조건 하수인이 죽을 거라고 생각을 하고
네.
여기서 최대한 데미지를 많이 주는 쪽으로 한번 해봐.
명치?
이렇게 하고 아니지 걔는 반대로 봐. 그렇지 때려놔봐. 다 때려놔. 그렇지. 이렇게 때려 넣으면은 상대방 체력이 오잖아.
상대방이 이제 좀
그러면
두근두근 하는 거죠. 이제 질까봐.
그리고 다음 턴에 파멸의 소유병이 나가면 끝나. 흔히 말하는 킬각을 잡아준 거야. 상대방이 이걸 다 정리를 해도 진다는 얘기지. 체력을 안 채우면.
그렇죠.
아, 잘하고 있어. 실력이 많이 는 것 같아. 영혼 없었어?
아, 좀 많이 없어요. 아니, 제가 또 초보자들 등록을 맞춰서 하고 있거든요.
아, 진짜?
그럼요.
이야, 승리.
역시 이덱, 역시
좋은데?
과금 없이도 이렇게 아주 손쉬운 승리할 수 있는 거죠.
그 어때 이거 그 평점 몇 점 정도 주시겠습니까?
4.8. 4.8이요.
5점 만점이요?
10점 만점에. 아니요, 근데
너 뭐?
진짜 5점 만점에 4.8.
5점 만점에 4점.
정말 괜찮아요. 여러분, 과금 안 하신 분들 이 덱을 꼭 사용해 보시길 바랄게요. 진짜 완전 괜찮은 것 같아요.
여러분, 과금 안 하셔도 됩니다.
역시 수석 백장인 박대민.
과금 없이도 락스라운스 깨시려면은 최소 2만 원이 듭니다. 2만 5천 원인가요?
우리는 빵원으로
이거는 솔직히 제가 말씀드린 히든 퀘스트랑 그리고 일일 퀘스트들 거기에다가 뭐 처음에 주는 카드팩 이것저것 합쳐서 그냥 카드팩만 개봉하다 보면 일반 카드는 어느 정도 나와요. 그러면 충분히 만들 수 있는 데코성이기 때문에
와우.
여러분 이 덱으로 승하십시오.
야.
Welcome back, everyone, to Hearthstone Masters Korea Season 2 here at OGN. And we do have our first match of the season going on. Seulsiho leading 2-0 and only needs to win one more in this best-of-5 Conquest format in the round of 16.
Yeah, just has to win one game with his Warlock deck, whatever that may be, and he will eliminate Kuma. But this is Conquest, so we've seen a lot of comebacks throughout the couple seasons we've done here so far. And Kuma has Druid, Warlock, and Hunter yet to choose from, so we'll see what he thinks is going to give him the best chance. Has to win with all three now.
Yeah, I would really like to see Kuma have some nice, something really well prepared for this, because you got to expect this handlock for a player like Seulsiho, and they are ready for set number 3, so we'll jump right into it.
It's going to be Druid. Okay.
All right, going back to the Druid.
Has to win with everything, so really it's just a matter of what Kuma is, more or less most comfortable with at this point. And, oh, it looks like it is Zoo.
Ooh.
Unless it's a very... No, it's definitely going to be...
It's definitely
going to be
Zoo, yeah. I mean...
Very cool. I love the Demon Zoo list right now. I was actually playing a lot of it this afternoon even. And a really rough hand starting out, actually, for Kuma as well, too.
Really feeling for Kuma here.
Maybe this Wrath can kind of get him rolling, give him a little bit of sustain, but we'll see. Looking a little bit grim.
Well, you mentioned you talked to the players during the global match, and they said that they actually didn't think handlock was in as strong of a place anymore, and I guess we're seeing it. I mean, if Seulsiho, this is how much he's respected in this in the Korean community. If he plays a deck, right, like he's stuck with handlock for so long, then now he finally switches over. That's when you know it's really been tried and true by the Korean players.
Right.
They do think that Demon Zoo is now the main way to go for Warlocks.
Even the Bane of Doom here, so I'll see if he runs 1 or 2. I like the 1 Bane of Doom, 1 Sea Giant version of this.
2 is pretty slow.
2 is like the Colento version of Demon Zoo, but
you can make it work. Obviously, it really depends on matchup at that point, but I think especially for ladder play, 1 Bane of Doom is the way to go.
I agree.
In tournaments, maybe we can see something different. Just using that Wrath right away because 3 health is a little bit annoying, but he might start missing that here later on.
I think you just coin out the... oh, really? I thought he was going to coin out the Imp Gang Boss here.
Yeah,
so he's going to life tap. Okay. I think, just really wanting to save that coin for something a bit more valuable later on. Well, like
the Void Caller,
the Void Caller, you can get out the free Imp Gang Boss, I suppose, in that way.
I like this, and obviously this just puts a lot of pressure and threat on a possible Monganis coming out, or even a Doomguard or something like that.
Unless it gets silenced, and silencing the Void Terrors or the Void Callers rather, are one of the strongest things you can do against Demon Zoo. And so, Kuma not hesitating at all to do that.
But here's the thing, and we saw this, I believe, at Seed Story Cup 3, where Life Coach used that to his advantage, where he was like, well, if they have a silence, they're most likely going to use it on that Void Caller. So he was playing handlock, and he put down the Void Caller, and then he put down his Twilight Drake afterwards. And I think, Seulsiho has to expect this. He's like, oh, well, that's fine. I mean, you see that he's running Sylvanas, a little bit heavier style of Demon Zoo here, and he's like, all right, well, that's cool. And now he puts down the Defender of Argus, and that's going to still live with 4 attacks, so that Shade will have to just stay silent for at least another turn.
It's still a strong board, definitely, for Seulsiho, yeah. Kuma can choose to just go ahead and trade here if he really wants to. I mean, he's got the Piloted Shredder coming. I mean, if he doesn't trade, suddenly that's a minimum of 6 damage coming in.
Yeah, I think you kind of got to trade.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit scary here already for Kuma.
All right, if he thinks that he can start turning things around here, though, we've seen people do this before. You could Savage Roar and Hero Power and get rid of the Void Caller.
That's
but
true.
I think that's a bit of a such. Whoa, he's going for a Wild Growth because that means he can put down his Dark Remuneration Roar next turn. But I would hope that he trades then, because man, you're going to be so slow if you just let that go,
So, no Sea Giant. In Seulsiho's list, he's actually running 2 Ironbeak Owls, so that's where the card swap is.
Okay.
From the list we see on ladder quite a bit anyway.
That's pretty reasonable, I think, especially for tournament play.
Yeah, 2 owls. It's interesting. It can slow things down a little bit, but it can also create big swings too. Either way, again, you know, Seulsiho looking really good at this point. And we've reached the moment where unless this Dr. Boom really gets some good Boombot hits, it's going to be very difficult for Kuma to clear this board fast enough to survive.
All right. Bane of Doom, that Boombot, Seulsiho. Get that Mulganis.
Yes.
Make your game boss a 4/6.
He's got other options too.
No, he's got
I think
plenty
you're
of
gonna,
other options.
Yeah, I think you're definitely going to use Implosion. You've got the Knife Juggler out right now, and while there is always some damage with the Boombots, you got to give it a shot.
All right. Oh,
only
only two. But it does hit one of the Boombots. This could really work out for
Whoa.
Seulsiho.
Both Boombots. Wow, that was so
Wow.
good, man.
What a clear.
No kidding. Those were pretty much perfect knives and then pretty much perfect Boombots for Seulsiho.
Wow, that's impressive. And he's going to clear up. Wow, and the knife goes face, so he lost nothing on that
was
knife juggler.
Maximum knife juggler efficiency there with that one.
Yeah.
Wow, very nice. Well, not so nice for Kuma. He's in a pretty rough spot. He's still got 23 health, so not out of the woods just yet for Seulsiho.
Does the Druid really want to leave the woods, though?
That's true. Not out of the desert. I don't know. He wants to get back to the woods. I would Drew the Claw Taunt up, and then I would Hero Power into the Abusive Sergeant this turn if I were him. Going for the charge. Okay.
Just wants to get rid of that Imp Gang Boss, I assume.
Yeah, and then we'll see if he runs into the Imp. Sometimes it's a bigger priority to get rid of that, but... Okay, going to get rid of the 2-1. I suppose unless you're going into a turn 9, the Imps aren't really that much of a concern.
Yeah. And here's his Dr. Boom. Now, Kuma, can he get his big game hunter?
He needs to swipe, man.
Or swipe.
Well, Cenarius is... It's something. It's something.
Ooh. I mean, you could Azure Drake and then see if you get swipe.
Yeah, you could.
And
that'd
then put down the Shredder afterwards.
That'd be very greedy. That'd be a pretty big risk. See, they agree.
You are going to take 10 damage
Yeah.
to face, so...
I mean, unfortunately, by doing this, he's going to give Seulsiho a pretty perfect Bane of Doom target.
Oh, man. You know what I love getting out of my Bane of Dooms?
What?
Illidan Storm Rage.
Yeah, Illidan's pretty awesome.
And if you get him for free, man, he's such a big tempo swing.
Yep. And what's it going to be? Bane of Doom.
And
it's a Void. Oh, it's
that
Voidwalker.
is,
All right.
wow, that is pretty underwhelming.
Boring. Hype killer Void Caller.
Yeah, geez.
Yep. Let's see. What does he want to do? Because he can still clear everything. Does he need to clear everything? It's kind of debatable.
Well, he's going to see where the Boombot goes. All right, it's just going to go to face. Does that hit? No.
Wow.
Do you clear this? Maybe. Yeah, I think you do, actually. I mean, sure, he doesn't have lethal next turn, but it can get pretty annoying when it's 5-8. Obviously, the Voidwalker's there, but he could have a Wrath. And
All right.
okay. Now, do you... I mean, Kuma, the dream would be to draw a swipe off of this Azure Drake, but...
Yeah.
Man, that's wishing for a lot.
Or a second Wrath as well, too.
Second Wrath would not be bad. You could still get rid of the Dr. Boom.
Yep.
All right, I say you draw then at that point.
You go with the Ancient of Lore, or do you go with the Azure Drake?
I say you just go with the Azure Drake. If you're going to go with Ancient of Lore, because I feel like then you're so torn on whether you heal or not, and either way, you're just... Okay, here's how I see it, right? If you're going to draw 2 from the Ancient of Lore, chances are, yeah, you might be able to draw a Wrath, but then you don't have the spell party, so you can't kill Dr. Boom anyway. And so then you only have 1/5/5 on board. I would rather Azure Drake, and if you really get nothing off of that, then just put down the Pilot Shredder and hope that he doesn't have lethal next turn. I think that's your best bet towards winning.
I think you're probably right. I think that's probably what it's going to be. Because it would be a full board clear if you draw a swipe.
And
Wow.
wow, I think
Very
that
excited.
was the Marine.
Yeah.
You got really excited there. All right, well,
Okay,
that's
that
not
was-
too bad. Yeah,
That was pretty good, yeah.
Hey, you buy yourself another turn to try to get that swipe.
Yeah, theoretically you do. Iron Beagle in the hand, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you can just Iron Beagle and Defender of Argus. Some sort of combination with that. You can Implosion. Seulsiho's got a ton of options right now. He's way, way ahead.
Yeah, and you're like you said, you are running 2 owls for Seulsiho right now, so When it's Druid, I mean, you might as well use it on one of the taunt targets. Now, if he wants to clear the board anyway, though, then obviously there's no point in silencing that, so we'll see what he chooses to do. And, oh, wow, is he gonna... Okay. He's
All
gonna
right.
see what he steals off of that.
I like it. You get an 8-8, and you take one of the 4-4 or the 4-6. It's really good. And if it's a 4-6, all right, it's not.
All right,
but
so the Dr. Boom will have to be sacrificed, but still
That's
a really
okay.
good play.
yeah, I don't think Seulsiho is too broken up about that. Yep, there's the Wrath.
All right, well, I guess if you Ancient of Lord last turn, he would have had it, and he could have just used the 3 damage. Now, what does he draw? Does he get a BGH for the... Oh, and no coin for the silence either.
Yeah.
I believe that is almost game here.
I believe
13.
it more or less is. I mean,
Oh, actually, yeah, it is with a Defender of Argus. That is lethal. Seulsiho gonna take a quick and easy 3. Oh, wow. Okay, well.
Well, he's got
all right,
plenty,
Seulsiho.
Plenty lethal there.
Yeah, quick and easy 3-0 in the round of 16 to go forward into the quarterfinals. Finally breaking that kind of curse that's been in the Korean scene of defending champions not making it far, not even qualifying in certain cases for other tournaments here for Hearthstone.
Yeah,
but going forward to the quarterfinals.
It looks Sam and Fleury watching from the audience as well.
Where they will be for the rest of the season.
I know, right? That's so sad. But it's happy for Seulsiho.
Yeah.
3-0 in his first match of the season here. And after a pretty disappointing global special event, too, it's nice to see him kind of come back and look in form here in his first match. I think he played extremely well. I think his deck choices were very good. And, you know, Kuma, well, I don't think there were, you know, really a lot of playing errors to speak of. His deck choices, I do kind of question a little bit. You know, bringing Druid, I think, is a bit risky. Bringing the type of hunter that he did, I think, is a bit risky. And he likes, and that's the trouble with kind of trying to be unique, is that you do sometimes sort of shoot yourself in the foot with that too.
Well, you know what? His mother probably told him that he was a special shooting star, and that's okay.
But that doesn't mean your decks have to be. You can be that.
Fair enough. Now, I do want to go back, though, and say his greed in the first game with the Druid and the swipe, that I think hurt him pretty bad. I really think that game could have gone otherwise if he wasn't so greedy with his cards, because he would have had a better chance for the Harrison, too. And because of that game, personally, I think Kuma might actually be one of our weaker players we're going to see this season. But let's have a chat with Seulsiho. And yeah, in his practices so far, leading into this match, he said, well, I've lost a lot during my practice games and whatnot, but I actually think I learn a lot more when I'm losing, because I learn about other deck building choices, tech choices, and obviously play options. And in my preparation for the match today, Golden Coin players have this tendency to try to bring counter decks. They try to play the mind games. That seems to be their strategy in tournaments. So I kind of figured that he's going to go for that, and I thought he might try to aim something for my hand lock. So I decided I might as well bring the popular Demon Zoo. Well, very well played. I mean, Seulsiho has been he did that in the finals too against Pomblat, trying to use that against the opposing player and really taking the mind games to another level here in Korea, because we haven't really seen that too much in the past, right? People just bring meta decks and go at it.
Seulsiho definitely does seem to be ahead of the curve here in Korea.
For sure. And yeah, and of course, also talking about his losses during the global match too, not just in practice behind the scenes, but he said, yeah, I mean, I learned a lot from those too, and there's a lot of pressure on me to win because I'm the #1 ranked player right now in Korea, because I'm the defending champion, and at the global match, that pressure got to me a little bit too, but I think that just means I need to practice more, I need to learn a lot more to come forward. And I missed the question there, but about a match that he might be looking forward to. I actually think they were talking about the rivalry between Golden Coin and his team now, the Cool All Killers. He said, well, I'm pretty sure we proved that last season. I think that ended last season. And you know, I do give credit to Kuma that he definitely tried to counter me. I mean, you saw the BGH in the Hunter deck, and obviously it's not a common card in the Hunter deck, but it is something you use to counter those handlocks, and that's how you try to get a guaranteed win with the Hunter against handlocks. And so, you know, I think he was really expecting the handlock from me, and I got him there. And talking about the quarterfinals, he said, well, you know, no matter who it is, they know my playstyle quite well. We know each other quite well, so I think I have to put in a lot of time into my preparation of deck choices and class choices, and now that I have some of that time since the first match, so I'll show you guys a little bit more preparation going to the quarterfinals, but we're going to take a quick break and return with match number 2 of Season 2 here at OGN.
여관 주인과 함께하는 하스스톤 검은 바위산 이야기. 낙스라마스에 이어 공개된 하스스톤의 두 번째 모험 모드 검은 바위산. 그 검은 바위산에서 가장 먼저 만날 수 있는 전설 카드는 바로 제왕 타우리산인데요. 타우리산이 대체 어떤 캐릭터이길래 이렇게 강력한 카드가 된 건지, 타우리산과 라그나로스는 대체 어떤 관계인 건지 궁금하시다고요? 서두르지 마세요. 타우리산의 재밌는 이야기 지금부터 하나하나 함께 하시죠. 타우리산의 이름은 워크래프트 역사상 2명이 언급되는데요. 먼저 마술사 영주 타우리산 이야기를 해보겠습니다. 마술사 영주 타우리산은 검은 무쇠 부족을 이끌었던 인물이죠. 드워프의 수도인 아이언포지에서 기나긴 내전 끝에 추방되고 나서 복수심에 다시 전쟁을 벌였지만 결과는 최악 그 자체. 자신의 본거지마저 점령돼 버릴 대위기에 처하게 됩니다. 이 위기를 타개하기 위해서 정령들을 소환해 적들을 상대하기로 결심한 타우리산. 7 현자들과 함께 정령을 소환하는 의식을 시작했는데요. 결국 땅속 깊은 곳에 잠들어 있는 고대의 정령을 불러내는 데 성공한 타우리산. 하지만 문제는 그 정령이 소환자들의 힘으로 제어할 수 없을 정도로 강력한 존재. 불의 정령왕 라그나로스였다는 것이죠. 라그나로스가 소환되면서 그 자리는 우리가 아는 그 이름 검은 바위산이라고 불리는 화산으로 바뀌었고, 타우리산과 7 현자들은 라그나로스가 소환되면서 생겨난 충격에 그만 목숨을 잃게 되죠. 그리고 지도자를 잃은 검은 무쇠 부족은 라그나로스의 노예가 되어 지금까지도 검은 바위산에 묶여 살게 됩니다. 이때 목숨을 잃은 마술사 영주 타우리산의 후손이 두 번째로 언급되는 타우리산, 제왕 타우리산의 카드 모델인 다그란 타우리산인데요. 월드 오브 워크래프트의 모든 던전 중에서 가장 많은 보스를 보유한 던전, 검은 바위 나락의 마지막 보스로 등장합니다. 검은 바위 나락을 공략할 때 자주 등장하는 상대가 재련의 달인 검은 무쇠 드워프들인데요. 하스스톤에서도 검은 무쇠 드워프, 검은 무쇠 잠복자 등의 카드로 만날 수 있습니다. 이때 검은 바위산 모험 모드에 등장하는 익숙한 얼굴들과 장소도 볼 수 있는데요. 험상궂은 주정뱅이 선술집, 그리고 법의 심판장입니다.
새로운 도전자군이야.
험상궂은 주정뱅이 선술집에서는 험상궂은 손님이 등장하는데요. 이 손님들은 처음 마주할 때는 공격하지 않지만 이 중 한 명이라도 때리게 되면 정말 벌떼처럼 무섭게 몰려들죠. 이런 특징은 하스스톤에서도 정말 잘 드러나서 무시무시한 손님들의 러쉬를 여러 번 볼 수 있습니다. 법의 심판장은 많은 관중들에 둘러싸인 상태에서 강력한 투기장 검투사들을 상대하도록 하는 것으로 하스스톤 모험 모드에서도 이런 설정이 잘 반영되어 있는데요. 대법관 그림스톤은 모험 모드에서 카드를 낼 때마다 정말 긴 카드 설명으로 게이머들에게 악명 넣기도 하죠. 월드 오브 워크래프트에서 다그란과 관련된 퀘스트는 드워프의 수장이었던 마그니 브론즈 비어드의 딸 모이라 브론즈 비어드를 구출해오는 퀘스트인데요. 타우리산의 옆에서 적대적인 NPC로 등장, 모험가들을 공격하는 모이라를 살려놓은 채 다그란을 처치해야 이 퀘스트를 성공할 수 있고, 이 모이라 퀘스트의 설정은 하스스톤 모험 모드에도 잘 반영돼서 모이라를 처치하는 순간 게이머는 제왕 타우리산에 엄청난 응징을 당하게 되죠. 그런데 여기서 반전 하나가 있습니다. 이 퀘스트는 다그란에게 납치당한 모이라를 구출하는 퀘스트인데, 막상 모이라를 구하는 데 성공하면 모이라는 그에게 반해 사랑의 도피를 했다는 사실을 알 수 있지요. 이후 대격변 시점에서 모이라는 성을 타우리산으로 바꾸고 아버지인 마그니 브론즈 비어드가 다이아몬드가 되어 사망하면서 혼란에 빠진 아이언 포즈를 기습 점거, 자신과 다그란의 아들인 타우리산 2세를 내세우며 왕위를 요구하는데요. 이렇게 다그란 타우리산은 죽었지만 그의 자손은 왕손으로서 앞으로의 드워프 이야기에서 계속 큰 역할을 담당할 것 같습니다. 끝으로 제왕 타우리산 카드에 있는 설명을 한번 살펴보면, 라그나로스를 소환한 것이 그의 조상인 마술사 영주 타우리산이라는 것을 생각했을 때 타우리산 두 캐릭터의 이야기를 이 카드 하나에 담은 것으로 생각됩니다. 그런데 타우리산이 살면서 첫 번째로 후회하는 건 무엇일까요? 혹시 결혼? 카리스마 넘치는 검은무새 부족의 군주가 사실은 낭만을 넘어서 공처였을지도 모른다는 것도 타우리산의 또 다른 반전 매력이라 할 수 있겠죠. 검은 바위산 이야기, 오늘은 제왕 타우리산의 이야기를 함께 했는데요. 다음 시간에는 선대 타우리산이 제어할 수 없었던 강력한 불의 군주 라그나로스 이야기로 돌아오겠습니다. 그럼 다음에 또 보자고요.